You're now in live in 3 minutes.
Good. I'm just going to post a. I'm just going to try and pin that to the top. That the information regarding the. Just trying to edit. Upload photo.
Okay, you can share. Okay, I will make you now as co-host. Okay, so good afternoon to everyone, and welcome to another edition of Pinoyathletics Track Talk. We'll be starting in a little early preparation for the Track Talk with German Olympics champion, German Olympian, and World Relays 2017 champion for Germany, Alexandra Burghardt. We're just waiting for her. And joining me in the talk is, of course, my co-founder for Andrew Perry, Level 3 Coach, Athletics Australia Association Coach Level 3. Did I mention it right? Australian Coaches Association or Australian Athletics Coaches Association? So what, again, Australian Coaches Association, right?
Just Athletics Australia Level 3 coach will do.
And myself is a PhD student candidate at the University of Physical Education, Budapest, Hungary, and on leave as the head coach of Ateneo Davao track and field team and grade school sport officer of the same university for the past 6 years. So we're just waiting for join. So if you are online already, please stay tuned for the Track Talk Thursdays. I hope that you have a meaningful Lenten season because, of course, there in the Philippines, it's already Jueves Santo or Monday, Thursday. So, of course, given the situation in NCR and nearby towns of our provinces of Bulacan, Laguna, and others, or the plus, we hope that you are still healthy and fine. We pray also for those who are having challenges due to COVID-19 pandemic, and we hope for the safety and health of everyone so that we can go back to our normal lives, hopefully in as soon as possible, especially for next year. That, of course, given the situation, it's still dependent on what will be happening soon. So, buddy, yes,
I'm just going to post that link to join the chat.
Yes, okay. Yes, of course, you can join us also on Zoom. Andrew, could you please post the joining link?
Yep, I'm just posting the link now to the sites. I think perhaps we should play the video of the women's 4x1.
Yes. Okay. Yes, you can do. I think you can do it if you can share the screen as well. It's on. It's It's of course courtesy of Canada. So the no copyright infringement intended, only for educational purposes.
Okay. Share. Okay, hang on. That's it. So it should. Can you see it now?
When I'm looking on it, so let's see.
Should be a YouTube screen.
Yes, I am seeing now the YouTube screen.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll play the sound. It might. Actually, I just got to put my camera down the bottom.
Perhaps we can switch off the.
Okay.
Thank you. That's from CBC Sports, courtesy of CBC Sports. No copyright infringement intended, only for educational purposes. Yeah. Okay, buddy. So I will now message Alex that we're on board.
Yep. I mean, if she's not ready yet, it's okay because it's still 20 minutes early. Yeah. So now with the Southeast Asian situation, it seems that, you know, after hearing that, you know, in the Tribune newspaper was saying that, you know, the SEA Games might not push through, which is not likely the case because, you know, in athletics and SEA Games, in athletics, Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia and Singapore are already having athletic competitions, so they're going to push through with the SEA Games whether the Philippines joins or not. But, you know, the Philippines is not the host of the SEA Games, so they don't get to decide whether it pushes through or not. If they decide to send less people or not send a team, well, Vietnam will still push through the games. The Malaysians are having a Grand Prix meet, which will start on April 10 to 11. The schedule is posted on the Pinoyathletics website, which is a full set of events, obviously with qualifying times. It's a Malaysian open meet, but whether or not it will include entries from other countries is yet to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
So far,
so Malaysia is already doing their respective meets, right? Is it a bubble?
They're starting to do big meets now, yeah.
That's impressive for them that they are. And besides, also
Thailand will have their their national championships in May.
yes, and one thing also that with the situation due to COVID-19, that it's mostly the trend now is having the so-called bubble, or like the athletics competition is done online, but then there's no audience. The restrictions are there, etc. And also there's testing, and of course making sure that the officials only and the athletes and I think few coaches can go inside the stadium. So that's another thing that it's about making all of the adjustments for this. That's one of how to adapt kind of situation that we are having right now. And one thing, I see two teams, Germany and Czech Republic, already on a training camp. I think both of them are in different locations in the islands in Spain. Excuse me. And they are doing their respective training camps. That's another way to adjust and to avoid the restrictions. And I think only the athletes can enter. I think it's in Canary Islands and also in Palma de Mallorca in Spain that they are there. So it means that we have no choice but to adapt to this situation that we're having in order to continue, especially that, of course, Tokyo 2021 Olympics is just around the corner, even that it's having the same hybrid form of viewing, meaning only athletes, coaches, and few officials can visit the venues, but there are audiences. So what else, buddy, is on your table right now?
Okay, so what else I have here is I've been an active member of the I Love Track and Field Facebook group, and also the Track and Field Coaching Network, and also the other group, Track and Field Revolution. Been posting statistics on athletes that have already qualified for the Olympic Games and various events. So far, I've covered the men's 100, men's 200, men's 4, men's 8, men's 1.5, both the hurdles events, the long jump and the pole vault for men, the women, the 1, the 2, the 4, the 8, both the hurdles events, the pole vault, and the I think the long jump. So yeah, like in the men's 100 meters, for instance, there's now 31 or 32 qualified entries out of 56. So there's 56 slots. So 32 men have already made the 10:05 or faster for that. So in the women's, the interesting thing is like 2 Nigerian women have now qualified in the 100 meters. So there's like more athletes filling all the slots. Like it's as we get closer to the games, it seems more people are actually hitting the standard as we get closer to the games.
Yes, yes, I think so. That's another thing that we need to consider as well, given the situation. And of course, so far in terms of our standings, what do you think, buddy? What will happen soon?
What do you mean in particular by that question?
I mean, if we remember, as of this time, Christina not had a good start of the season. So is she already on track for in terms of her performance for the Warriors?
Um, like she'd have to run better this weekend, but that's on that'll be in a couple of days. But she's got lots of meets to hit the qualifying standard, so we can just expect a better run from her on Saturday. Obviously, there were some technical things to sort out, which coach is probably addressing. So we'll just have to see how Saturday goes.
Exactly.
So I'd expect a better time this weekend. That's then 11:54. Would expect to come out and run at least 11:30, or something in the 11:30 range at least to be on track for the Olympics.
Yes, of course, we hope for the best for KK
I
to
think she's running the 1 and the 2 this weekend, so it'll be interesting to see how that 200 goes. Because she hasn't ran a 200 for a little while. I mean, she ran 23:01 at the Sea Games, or 23:07 and then 23:01. And then she came out and ran a windy 23:2. So it'll be interesting to see how she goes in the 200 as well this weekend.
Yes, that would be very exciting to see how she will manage to continue with her quest to qualify for the Tokyo 2021 Olympics. I already invited also Brian, so perhaps we can remind him as well if he wants to join us. I already invited him last week.
And
So
Bong.
and Bong, yes. We would like also to greet our participants or guests who are in Facebook. If you can, please post a shout out on the comments page of the live streaming so that we can say greetings to you as we wait for guests for this afternoon. Just give an idea about our guest, Alexandra Burghardt. She's from Bavaria or Bayern in Germany, and she completed her studies in University of Mannheim, where she played first at the MTG Mannheim. Then, after her university studies, she moved hometown, of course, in Bayern or Bavaria in Germany, and now playing for the SB Wackel Burghausen Athletics Club. And as of this time, she had her statistics can be found in Light Athletic Data Bank. She had a personal best of 11.32 seconds for the 100 meters. And also in 2016 in Mannheim, 11.18. Then 200 meters, 23.46 seconds. That was set in Mannheim. I think, okay, Brian is here. Okay. Okay, good afternoon. Brian is still joining us. Oh, thank you, Brian, for joining us while we are waiting for him to get on board.
Just sending out some RSVPs.
Hello, good afternoon, Enzo, Coach Arnell.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Brian.
Brian. Thank you
Good
for
evening. Yeah.
hope you don't mind, Sir Brian. What sport agency or firm that you're now affiliated right now? I'm sometimes I keep saying ABS-CBN Sports, although I think you're unofficially off board now with ABS-CBN Sports. Hello, did we lost him? Okay, while we are waiting for Sir Brian to get back on board, so the
Yeah.
personal best of Alexandra is can be looked on the World Athletics website. Okay, I will share the screen to everyone right now.
Sending some messages to some of the coaches from the virtual meets.
Okay, so that's her. She's born April 28, 1994. Her personal best for the 100-meter dash is that's for 100-meter dash. For some personal best, we can look at here 11.32 in Wetzlar in Germany 2015, and then in 200 meters in Mannheim in June 2019. And the season's best that she have is only this February, 7.24 meters, and that's her progression. And her honors are as follows. She competed for the 4 by 100-meter relay fifth place in the World Athletics Championships in Beijing, China 2015. Then World Relays, of course, first in Nassau in Bahamas. Via, are you there? Can you hear us? Anyway, so we continue with on the 4 by 100-meter list. You can view it at the World Athletics website. And then under 22nd place, fifth place in Serbia 2017, another first place in the European Team Championships as part of the 4 by 100-meter relay team of Germany 17, and of course another championship way back in 2015. So it means that her effectiveness is mostly at the as a part of the team for Team Germany. Sir Brian, can you hear us now, by the way?
Yep, sorry.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, we're just testing. Although we are live now, and then we are waiting for others to come in. Again, to join us for the Q&A later via Zoom. The link is already flashed on the Facebook Live page, and also it's on the Facebook group of Pinoy Athletics. We're also hooked up at Splash Runners Philippines. And we thank everyone joining us for this afternoon while we are waiting for our guest. Okay, Sir Brian, what is the name of the blog that you are moderating, by the way?
Right now, wait, where's that? Right now, I'm putting up Sports Bites. That's where I usually hold my podcast, but I also write for ABS-CBN.
Okay, I see.
So, yeah.
And Sports Bites, you're with Miss Roan Beltran, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, she's one of my many co-hosts. Actually, there are a lot of them. I shuffle them depending on the sport. When it comes to athletics, Roan.
I see, I see. So I hope that next time we would like to greet Loan Beltran to join us as well in our next episode of the Track Talk, where I'm going to be the host. Mostly on April 13, we'll be having another athlete, this time a Filipino-German athlete. Okay, so yes, we'll start.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yes, yeah. So, and one thing as well. So of course, we hope that Roan can join us next time. And another thing on what I'm saying, because someone popped up on the screen, is on April 13, which I will announce later. We will have a Filipino-German athlete, former athletics, then turned into bikini bodybuilding. Andre will be joining us for the next Track Talk. She will be talking about transitioning from running or athletics to physique and strength sports. And Andrea Breihoff was the champion of the 2019 Sean Roden Classic IFBB Pro card holder in the Philippines. So that's another thing that we are looking forward for edition of the Track Talk. And so far, we are waiting for others to come in. I hope that. Greetings as well to York Tamayo of Calamba Scholar Athletics. Magandang araw sa iyo dyan, York. Or Yorkie, how do I pronounce your... Okay, Jonathan is on the waiting room. Yes, Coach Jonathan. Then, of course, our guest this afternoon. So, okay. Admit. Lance is also joining us, one of the athletes whom Alex met during our visits in Germany.
That's from your group, right?
Yes, she's okay. So we'll be starting in 4 minutes, although we are live. Okay, now, so we're seeing now our guest this afternoon. Okay, Alex, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon over there.
I
Good
would
afternoon.
Yes, I would like you to welcome to our edition of the Track Talk Tuesdays for Pinoy Athletics. As you know, Pinoy Athletics is an independent athletics group formed by different vloggers related to athletics. It was co-founded by myself and also Andrew Perry, who is also a level 3 athletics coach. And with me is Brian Yalong, a Filipino journalist from Sports Bites Philippines. And other people here on the room is Coach Jonathan Familar, the one of our friends on the Athletics Parents Council of Ateneo de Davao University in Davao City, Philippines, where my hometown is. And of course, you know him, Lance Taniedo, whom you met last
Yeah,
28 in Burghausen.
hi.
So yes,
Hi.
hello, Coach Jonathan and Mambien, and also Lance. Okay, Alex, how are you doing, especially nowadays that, of course, given the situation, etc.?
Thank you. I'm doing very well, and I'm very happy to join you with this conversation today. I was really looking forward to, and yeah, I hope you guys are all right too, and you're healthy, and yeah, I'm good.
Nice to hear from you. And of course, Andrew, are you there? If you can turn on your camera so that we can see you as well.
I'm here. I just need to fix my Zoom because it's just minimized the screen. I'm trying to like get the screen back to the normal size.
Yes. Anyway, so we'll be on, although we are live, but we will start the whole process of the talk in 2 minutes. Then, by the way, please be reminded, Alex, of course, this is a record. We will record it for those who can join us live. So I hope it's that we record our discussions this morning here in, of course, in Budapest and also in Burghausen and afternoon in the Philippines. Yes. Are you okay with that?
Of course.
So we'll be starting in few seconds. I'm just checking some of the things, and now we're almost alive. Yeah. Okay, again, good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to another edition of Track Talk Tuesdays here in Pinoy. And I'm Irna Labara, the co-founder of Pinoy Athletics. And with me is Andrew Perry, who's also my buddy in Pinoy Athletics, and Brian Yalong of Sports Bites Philippines, Jonathan Familiar from Davao City, and Lance Taniedo. And we will be having our special guest this afternoon, the 2017 champion for the World Athletics Relays in Bahamas, from SB Wacker Burghausen in Bavaria in Germany. An Olympian and also a good friend of ours, Alexandra Burghardt. Good afternoon from the Philippines and good morning here in Europe, Alex.
Good afternoon, and good morning to you to Hungary.
Yes. So we will start meetings for this afternoon. So first, our agenda is of course some basic questions, and then after that we will have the second part for the Q&A. So for the next 45 minutes to 1 hour, we hope that it will be a good conversation to every one of us, especially in relation to athletics. And of course, what things that we can learn in the Philippines in the context of the athletic system, the things that we can control. Of course, it's a different cultural, economically, and political. But of course, we hope that we can learn as well on your experience on how we can apply as well on the local context in the Philippines. So the first question is, how did you get started in athletics? Who is Alexandra Burghardt? So introduction, how did you get, and what things that made you stick to athletics?
Okay, I think I should start with how my childhood was, because I was a very active child, and ever since I can think of, I was running around and yeah, very wild. So I started with tennis actually at the age of 5 and switched to athletics with the age of 9. And ever since I'm 9 years old, I'm now running and jumping around, and yeah, that's how my sport career started, with tennis first and athletics. And yeah, then I got older and I decided to focus on athletics, and I wanted to do it more professionally. Yeah, with the age of 16, I think I really thought about doing it professionally, and I really wanted to, yeah, give it a go.
So given that, of course, you focus in 16, so you mentioned that is it really first? It's in sprints, but of course, I think I well that you also did other disciplines like long jump, hurdles, etc. So how does the transition starting from different disciplines and then focusing on sprints?
Yeah, in Germany, it's the most common thing to start with all disciplines, because you don't really know which one you will be best at, and I think it's good for development to do everything, like throwing, jumping, and running. So that's how I started. I started with heptathlon, and I did everything. I also did javelin and shot put, and long jump, high jump as well, of course. And yeah, but my best disciplines were always the hurdles and the sprint disciplines and the jumping disciplines. I am quite a good shot putter too, though, but yeah, javelin was never my favorite discipline. So yeah, then I started to focus more on long jump and sprints. And after that, I decided to become a hurdler and sprinter. I think it was about, the age of 16, 17 when I quit long jump, and I think my last heptathlon I did with 15 years old.
Nice, nice. So it means that really, with the German athletic system, we can recommend as well to our stakeholders that we make the disciplines for the young athletes to really get around in all of disciplines. And you said that you really specialize when you're like 16 to 17 years old. So that is one thing that I think that we can learn from, that we want to make sure and we assess the performance when we are really on the 16 to 17 years old, which is also the context of what we call the long-term development plan. So that is a good situation that you have as well. So the second question is, of course, now that you're a professional athlete and you've been an Olympian, meaning you're part of the German Olympic athletics team for 2 Olympic Games, right? Is it in Rio, or only in Rio and also in London?
Only in Rio, unfortunately, but I hope to make it a second time this year.
Yes, I hope so. So now that you're given the situation that pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, what is the daily life of Alex? That especially now that you are a professional athlete, but also, if I'm not mistaken, doing also some personal entrepreneurial or business activities with your friends, or your families, your partners, etc. So how does it looks like for the daily life of Alex, pre-pandemic and post-pandemic? Now,
Yeah,
with the pandemic.
I think the pandemic, I tried to, like always see the positive side of it, because pre-pandemic, our eyes were really focused on the Olympics and on the Olympic cycle, and I really wanted to focus on the 2020 Olympic Games, but I always had some injuries and didn't really have the time to recover properly, and especially with my patella tendon, my knee problems. Yeah, you always try to make the best out of it, but in the end, I always had pain, and there was no time to just have a break or let things heal properly. And with the Olympics being postponed, I finally got the time to care about myself and to get my knee slowly better, and I did a lot of weight training and a lot of rehab training for my knee last summer. And I was quite happy about the Olympics being postponed, because it gave me a chance to prepare the way I wanted to prepare, with a healthy body. And yeah, that's why I haven't been running for about 5 months last summer. So from May to October, I only did weight training and rehab training, and then slowly started running again in autumn. And it came out pretty well. So my knee problems are better now. They are actually almost gone, or they are gone. And since October, November, I'm in full training again. And yeah, this break helped me a lot, actually. And yeah, now of course we are in preparation for the Olympics again. And yeah, I think I just was one of the lucky athletes who could take the time. Others, of course, were quite disappointed, and yeah, but for me it was actually a good thing. Only sport-wise, of course, the pandemic is not good at all, and
Yes.
but yeah, it was good to have a break, because you never have a real break as an athlete. It's only 1 month a year, especially, or for example, only in September. We only can go on a holiday in September, and then the training starts again. And yeah, it was quite good, and for my mind as well. It was a bit of refreshing, and I could focus on my goals again. And I took the time, and it was a good thing.
Nice to hear. So at least you're able to continue with your etc. So of course, for the context of the Filipinos, it's always a cliche here that of course I think we discussed this in 2017, and for the public's attention, your height is 5 feet 11 inches, and what's it in meters?
1.82.
1.82, so which is fairly tall in the context of athletics. In your experience, because when I watch you in most of your relay games, especially that you're handling mostly the first or the second runner, in my review, do you think how did the height put an advantage to you, or sometimes it can be a disadvantage to performance? Because it's always a fascination here, a common stereotype here in the Philippines, that if you're tall, if your legs are long, you're expected to perform well in running. So how it can be contextualized on your experience?
I think there is not a perfect sprinter out there. When you have a look at, for example, Shelley and Fraser Price, she's
5 feet,
compared
5 feet
to me,
flat.
she's very small. And sprint or running fast is a combination of high frequency and long steps. And so if I have long steps and no frequency, then I won't be fast at all, and the other way around. So yeah, I think you can do both. And there are tall sprinters out there like Daphne Skippers, and there are small sprinters out there. There's not something like a perfect sprinter. You always have to take the best and make the best out of your body and out of your given God-given things. And of course, you can say, with my height, maybe it's better to run 200 and 400 meters, and there may be certain advantages there. But as you see with my 60-meter performance, I'm quite good in acceleration and starting as well, which some people say it's not common for tall athletes. So yeah, you just have to focus on what you have and try to make the best out of it, no matter how tall or how small you are.
I see. So at least now that everyone have a context on the advantage, and also making the most out of your skills, your physical capabilities, meaning the structure, the physique, and also the running form. So it's really a combination of technique also, and of course, better training opportunities, and also and the programs provided by your coaches. So that will go to our next question. So of course, we know that your best performance is 2017 World Athletics relays in Bahamas. Do you have any other one or two performances that you can really say that this is mine? I really did it well. That you can say to yourself that I'm good on this.
Yeah, I think so. At the beginning of my career in 2011, I participated at the German Under-20 National Championships indoors, and I won with a time of 7:42, I think. And that was quite a good time for an 18 or 17-year-old girl, and that's where things went on from this point on. So this was really, I think, the start to my athletic career. And yeah, of course, every big competition I've participated in, every World Relays, every World Championships in Beijing were a great thing because of the great stadium and the people there, and the atmosphere was just great. And yeah, there are so many cool competitions out there, and I loved every single one of them. So every single competition is different and special in its own way.
Thank you, Alex. So, of course, the 2017 World Athletics Relays in Bahamas, your participation in the World Athletics Championships in Beijing is really one of a kind because, of course, do you think that, of course, based on your performances in terms of how you achieved so far, although it's a team event, do you think that you're more ideal as a part of the relay team or more on the individual, or what do you prefer between the two of them?
I think it's hard to say because, yeah, the relay is always a special thing because you're not on your own. You always have your teammates around, and you are not responsible for your own. And but I also like to compete individually, of course. I mean, I'm a sprinter. I wanna run fast, and I want to win, of course. So I think I like the combination of both things. On the one side, the team aspect you don't really have with athletics, but only in the relay, and on the other side, of course, the individual part.
Okay, thank you, Alex. Next question is, of course, given after the performance, your daily task, and other things, bless you. And now, in terms of your career as an athlete, of course, you have also the set of coaches and the people who really influence you on your character, your discipline, and also your training. So, can you cite us at least one or up to three people that really influence you, who had really made a huge impact towards you? Of course, you can choose either one or even three people.
Yeah, I think it's very hard to choose only three people because it's in the end it's a puzzle, and there are about 100 people who make the puzzle work, and every single person out there who has helped me throughout my career, whether it's been coaches or physiotherapists, chiropractors, mental coaches, and of course family, friends, my boyfriend, they all are very important for the development. And I've learned so much from every single one of them. From every physiotherapist, I could learn something to maybe try to reduce the risk of injuries, or how to do mental techniques. And I think I can't really break it down to three people because it's the overall thing you have to look at, and it's too much people, or too many people you need. And it takes a village, actually. It's like the saying, to be good at what you do. But of course, like physiotherapists are very important. I started working with mental coaches a few years ago, which helped me a lot. And you always need your family and friends around you because they are the rock in hard times, and they help you to overcome obstacles. And of course, a good coach. And I always had very good coaches, and I've learned a lot from each one of them. And I don't want to miss any of these experiences. They let me grow, and that's something you need for progress.
Okay, thank you. Of course, it's as you mentioned, it takes a village to really build an ideal or world-class athlete. So, given that, of course, you cannot really identify them, but the next question is, what do you think is the ideal character of of a coach or a physiotherapist, or like some or other people that or what do you think is the ideal character of the coach for you?
I think a coach, of course, there's a certain kind of knowledge you need to bring with you, but you really need to be sensitive and calm, and you need to develop a very good relationship with your athletes. And it doesn't need to be like a friendship, but it can be, of course. And it should be a respectful partnership where you can talk to each other about everything, and yeah, where you feel treated well, and there's a good atmosphere. And that's a thing which is very important for a training group as well. I think the atmosphere in a group has to be just good, a happy atmosphere. You have to feel good if you come to training. You have to, yeah, looking forward to training, and looking forward to see the other athletes and your coach. And you have to be willing to, yeah, really work with them, and to, yeah, just have fun with them. So a good relationship between coaches and athletes is, I think, very, very important.
So in the context, of course, of the German athletic system, so you have the privilege as an athlete, as a professional athlete, to choose the coach that will work for you, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I do. Of course, when you start with athletics, then you have the coaches around you. You have coaches in the same city, maybe, and they are always good coaches, especially when you're young. The most important thing is that you, yeah, learn how to coordinate your legs and arms, and it's not so important in the first thing if you do exactly this exercise or that exercise. It's more about, yeah, learning how your body works at the age of 10 maybe, and not so much about technically aspects, I think. And yeah, I became older, and then I chose a coach in Mannheim, which was a very good experience for me. I've learned a lot over there. But then, of course, you have to see at which point it's maybe the right thing to move on, or if you need something else, or if you want something else, or try out something else. And that's what I did. And I had a coach in Austria. I had a British coach with whom I worked with very closely. And now I'm, yeah, in Switzerland because my former coach is now a Swiss national coach for sprints. And so I'm traveling a lot, and I'm very often in Zurich. And yeah, I think you just need to figure out what works for you. And of course, the model I chose doesn't work for young athletes, but everyone's different, and everyone maybe needs an individual approach.
One question here by Enzo is, of course, is it really the athlete's choice to choose the coach freely, or they are being motivated or also being quote unquote pressured or pushed by the federation? Is it the federation decides, or is it really still on your own?
I can only speak for me, and for me it was always my free will and my own decision with whom I want to train with. And luckily, I always got the support of my nationals federation, and they were very supportive and, yeah, were helpful.
Okay, thank you. So, of course, we you already talked about, of course, that don't mind as I mentioned this, that of course you have some setbacks that where you got. I think what year you had some injury last year or 2 years before?
Yeah, injuries are a big part of my career, unfortunately, but
Yes.
the biggest injuries were the last 2 years. Yeah.
Okay, so how given now that of course you already started to recover, etc., and to make things better for you, so what and what lessons that you can share in rising up to this adversity, I must say, or challenge of being injured and also coming back, as you mentioned about the physiotherapy, but also on your own, what is your mindset when you're dealing with these adversities, injury, or sometimes economic or social situations?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I've learned over the past few years that I always try to focus on the positive things. Like last year, I tried to see the pandemic as a chance for me to fully recover. And what I've learned over the past years is to listen to my body, because nobody else will feel my body like myself. And I now know when it's maybe time to have a break or time to stop, because sometimes less is more. And yeah, when I was a younger athlete, I was very focused on the programs, and I wanted to do it exactly as it was written on the programs. but if you have pain, then you have to react. And I think it's always best to listen to your body and maybe to step one step back, but it might be a good thing. So I think, the older you get, the more you know about your body, and the more you have to communicate with your coaches, of course, because today I'm not feeling well, for example, because of the traveling from the training camp, and we really were training hard over there. So I talked to my coach, and we adapted the training for today. And I think the older you get, the more you are able to do that.
Okay, thank you. So, of course, we know the fact that you're preparing Tokyo 2021 Olympics. I'm hoping, did you already officially qualified, or you're still under assessment?
No, I didn't qualify already yet, because there's now this new system to qualify, and I didn't qualify yet. So I still have to do some good races and run some fast times, and I'm hoping to do that in summer soon.
Yes, of course. So, of course, your immediate goal is really to qualify for the Tokyo 2021. So, after Tokyo 2021, how do you see yourself 3 to 4 years from now? Or, for example, your post-athletics career. So, how do you see transitioning from being a professional athlete then on the next thing on your career?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm actually not sure how long I'm going to do my athletics career, but we're always thinking of Olympic cycles, of course, and big events. So in 2022, there's European Championships in Munich, and that's of course a big goal of mine, because it's like home European Championships for me. And let's see. I really can think of maybe another Olympic cycle, but I'm not sure yet. I wanna check from year to year how my body's feeling and how my progress is. And after my sports career, I think I'm gonna work in maybe marketing kind of field, because that's what I studied in Mannheim, marketing and economics. But I'm really open to everything. I'm interested in a lot of things, and I'll just see what there's up for me.
Okay, thank you, Alex. So, now that I think the set of questions officially had been ended, now I turn over now for our open Q&A for the next 15 minutes. So the order of our question answer first is my co-host, Enzo Williams or Andrew Perry from Australia, then Brian Yalong of Sports Bites Philippines, and also the questions both here on our Zoom page and also on our page for the next 15 to 20 minutes. So Andrew, I let you to ask the questions now. Andrew, take it away.
Okay, and feel free to ask everything. I'm happy to answer every
Of course.
question as good as I can.
Yeah, okay. So we have more 20 to 30 minutes from now. Hope you don't mind. Okay?
Oh, of course, I have time.
Okay, Andrew, your turn.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Alex, for joining us. So my first question is, I'm just going to ask the questions that Andy Field asked on the Facebook message. So Andy asked, is it possible for Germany to improve on its time in the 4x1 meter relay event in the coming Olympics? So that was the first question. Second question was, is it possible for Germany to equal the current Olympic record in the same event within the next 4 years?
Okay, I think there might be a chance of improving the personal record of Germany, because it's an Olympic year, and I think every one of us will be at her maybe lifetime best. And so, I really think it's possible. But I'm not sure.
What is the German national record?
Oh, I actually don't really know at the moment.
Is it quite an old record? The German record in the 4x1?
I think so, yeah. I think so. But I'm sorry, I don't know the relay records.
Okay, Andrew, continue.
So then the second question was, is it possible for Germany to equal the current Olympic record in the same event within the next 4 years? So I guess that's kind of been answered.
Yeah, because yeah, I think the Olympic record is by the Jamaicans or Americans. I'm not even sure. But yeah, Olympic record would mean an Olympic gold medal. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty far away, but nothing's impossible. So might be.
Is that time in the Bahamas? I think it's like 42.86 or 42 something. Is that the quickest time that Germany has ran in the last five or so years, or have they ran a quicker relay since?
No, they have run a quicker relay. I think they have run sub 42 once, but I think it's because of the Bahamas or World Relay Champions are always very early in the season, and I think you might not expect very fast times for the relay at the end of April or the beginning of May. I think the very fast times are coming in July, August.
Okay, yes. Based on the looking online, it's for women, it's the United States who hold both the world and the Olympic records at 40.82 seconds set in 2012. Yeah, so for reference. Okay, so Andrew, do you have other questions, or shall I turn it over to Brian for his own comments?
Yeah, I've got another question actually in regards to the 4x1 of Germany and the women's. I'm just looking now at the list of German national records in the relay. So obviously, the record in Germany was set way back in 1985, which was a team which also was composed of Marlies Gore in 1985 at the World Cup in Canberra, Australia. So the record was set at 36. So I knew it was going to be quite an old record because Germany had all those women running like sub 11 at one point, and I knew it was going to be quite an 80s record. My question though is this: was Germany expecting to win in the Bahamas, considering that nobody in the German team is a sub 11 sprinter, whereas you're up against countries such as the United States and Jamaica, and I'm not sure, like probably not there, but also at the Olympics there's going to be Great Britain as well, who are really the three big guns of world women's relays. With a lineup which doesn't have a sub 11 second woman in it, was it expected that Germany was going to win in 2017?
No, it wasn't expected, especially not by me, because I received a message that I was supposed to be running 10 minutes before warming up. So I think our bonus is that our changeovers are quite good, and we are really good at it because we train it a lot, and we do have a lot of camps where we are together and training the changeovers, and it's really a science, kind of a science in Germany. And I think that's where we have our bonus from, and where we can compensate maybe one or two sub 11 runners. And but I think now we have one sub 11 runner with Gina. She ran 11 in 2018 at the Berlin European Championships, and I think there might be one or two to come. So let's see.
Can I ask as well? I had one more question. Are you also, as well as aiming for that spot in the 4x1 relay team, are you also aiming for the individual in the 100?
Of course, always, yeah. I want to aim for an individual place, maybe 100 meters, maybe 200 meters. I don't know. I don't want to focus on one, because I think if you can run fast, then you can run fast at both distances.
So you're going to, in the next, because I know that the Olympic cutoff is around June the 27th. So in the next, so we've got April, so April, May, June, and then just done around 3 months. So how many races will you have in the 1 and the 2 before before the Olympic cutoff in 3 months' time. How many races have you actually got scheduled to attempt that qualification?
As we are heading to a training camp again in 2 weeks, for 2 weeks in Belek in Turkey. I'll come back at the end of April. So first competition might be in the first week of May. And our nationals are scheduled first week of June. That makes it 4 weeks for competitions. And I think maybe four competitions over the 100 meters and maybe about 2 competitions in the 200 meters are possible in those 4 weeks.
So training is for both those events, because obviously the 100, the 200, even those 2 events are very different, different types of training because of the distances and, that sort of thing. The 200 requires a little bit more speed endurance, obviously, and some curve running compared to, say, the 100. So with your best times, there's a lot of time to improve, but probably a lot of room for improvement in, say, the 200 as well.
Yeah, I think so, because I always had a lot of technical matters, especially with the 200 meters and speed endurance. It wasn't so much about the endurance, it was more about the technical things.
Because, Unel said your times before. Is this correct? So it's 11:31 and 23:46.
It's 11:32 and 23:46, yes.
Yeah, so there's a lot of wiggle room in the 200 then, because, if you've run 11:3 and you're running 23:46, that means that there's a lot of things to work on, but at the same time, there's a lot of room to improve because, obviously 11:3 times that by 2, that's 22:60, and, the Olympic standard is 22:80. So there's always that possibility.
Of course. I'm pretty positive to improve my times, but of course you always need some luck. I would need some kind of tailwind, I think, to run sub 22:80. But yeah, I'm improving with every week, and I'm really looking forward to race. And especially with the 200 meters, I think you develop a lot the more races you have. So the first 200-meter race might not be as fast as the second and the third. So I just don't want to focus on the times alone. I just want to improve my running and my technique, and I want to try to be as good as possible and do everything that maybe could improve it. Yeah, like going to physiotherapists, looking at my what I eat and how I sleep. So I try to really improve every single thing in my life the next 3 months to make it possible.
Okay, buddy. Are you okay? Yeah.
That's cool. Thanks for answering those questions, Alex. That was very insightful. All the best for your qualification for the 1 and the 2.
Thank you. You're welcome. It was nice having you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Buddy, for your questions. So now I turn it over to our co-host as well, Brian Yalong of Sports Bites Philippines. Brian is a Philippine sport journalist working for both TV and also online. So Brian, take it away.
Thank you, Coach Arnel. Good afternoon, Miss Alexandra. I hope you can answer my questions. They're not really that hard. Okay. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when you started, when Coach Arnel asked you earlier, did you mention that you played tennis first?
I played tennis at the beginning. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just curious, what made you shift to athletics? What was the thing that made you shift to athletics?
That's a good question. I did both for about 3 years, from the age of 9 till the age of 12 or 13. I was twice a week I was at athletics training, and twice a week I was at tennis training. And when I became 13 years old, I thought about maybe it's time to choose one of the two loves. And I chose athletics because I liked it more. It was just more fun. I like the competitions. I still like tennis, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna play tennis again when I'm retiring. But I just loved speed, and I loved competing women against women, and that's why I chose athletics. And I think yeah, I was very young back then, but yeah, I just was a bit better in athletics. I was winning a lot, luckily, and that's what makes it fun.
Right. And you said you're around 5'11", right? That's your height.
Yeah, I don't know the feet, but it's 1
All
meter
right.
62
But
centimeters.
regardless, you're tall. Okay.
I'm taller.
So I'm just curious. Usually I had this idea that the taller you are, the more advantageous it would be for a sprinter. So you said that there's a difference. I'm curious. Excuse me. Being a tall athlete, what adjustments do you have to do to keep in step with the smaller sprinters?
You have to work on your frequency, because the advantage you have is your long legs, and your long legs make big steps. But if you do the big steps slow, then you won't be fast. So I think a lot of speed work, like and frequency work with maybe small hurdles, small, just the frequency stuff will help you a lot to improve very fast and to get your long legs move fast.
That's okay.
But
And
of
okay.
course, having long legs also has some disadvantages. I think
Yeah.
you're more prone for injuries.
Mhm.
I always have some injuries with my long legs and stuff. But yeah, there's not really there are always disadvantages and advantages, and you just have to figure out the way your body works and make the best out of it.
Right. Funny you should talk about injuries. That was my next question.
Okay.
You said you were able to use the pandemic to rest your body and get get a chance for the next Olympics, right?
Yeah.
So, but for me, does it also affect your physical and mental preparations? I mean, yes, your body healed, but given the conditions we are in right now, there are limitations wherein we cannot train the usual way things we do. So, do you think this is a factor?
It did, especially when the pandemic started, because yeah, none of us knew how long it's gonna be and how things will be, and yeah, I wasn't able to train in my usual facilities for about 1.5 months. That was better now for the second and third lockdown. I could train, yeah, very good and in good conditions, so that made it way easier over the time. But as I said, I am working with mental coaches, and this helped me a lot to focus on a positive thing. And this pandemic will be over sometime, so I just focus on it to be over sometime, and to make the best out of it and to stay focused. And it was quite easy for me. I don't know. I talked to a lot of athletes, and some were really disappointed and had big lack of motivation because of the pandemic. But my big motivation was to get healthy, and I was so thankful to have the opportunity and to have the time to get healthy again.
When Andrew asked you earlier, you said that you haven't qualified yet for the Olympics. What competitions are ahead for you to be able to qualify for the Olympics?
Yeah, that's a good question, because with the indoor season, it was quite difficult to get good competitions or to compete in general, because the restrictions and the COVID measures were pretty tough. So actually, I'm not really sure about competitions, when or where. I think we'll know about that in 1 or 2, maybe 3 weeks. And yeah, it's of course different than usual, because normally you have your schedule and you know when it starts and where it goes. That's different now with the pandemic, but yeah, I try to see the positive side always, and there will be competitions and there will be chances to qualify, and I'm ready. I try to be ready for those chances.
All right. So my last question is, I don't know if you've heard of the Filipino athletes here.
Of
Because,
course, I've met some.
Oh, okay. So you met them. What is the best advice you can give to them? I mean, they're already good. Some are good already on their niche, but to take it to the different level, what would you advise them?
Okay. As I said earlier, they should listen to their bodies, and they, as I said, sometimes less is more. But I experienced that the older you get, the more you want to do on your own, and the more you think you know yourself. And now I know that sometimes, for me, it works this way. Sometimes, or always, it's the commitment. I need to be fully committed to a program, to a plan. And that's what I've found with my coach, Patrick Seile. I'm fully committed to the programs he's writing for me. And I really think that this is the master plan, which will work for me. And that helped me a lot to get better, because there was no doubting, and I didn't really, I was not insecure about the program. I really thought this will work. And I think that's maybe the key to your personal success, that all what you do because of you think it's the best. And so commitment and listening to your body is, I think, are two very, very important things I would say to your athletes.
Thank you so much, Miss Alexandra. Coach Arnell, thank you. Thank you so much. I hope I didn't make it too hard for you.
Okay, thank you, Sir Brian. Of course, I would like to correct myself that, of course, you mentioned your height is 1.83 meters, so the equivalence to 1.83 meters, right? Okay, so other things, of course, Andrew and Brian already had their questions. So now I turn over, please, to those who are in. So Lance, can you show yourself first so that you can say hi to Alex? You met her in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Lance, are you there?
Yes, sir. Hello,
Oh,
Alex. Long time.
kindly show kindly turn on your camera so that Alex can see you.
Oh, it is already on.
I
It
can
is
see him.
already on.
Okay, okay, yan. So, okay, yeah, mag-hi ka lang, yan. So, sorry if I speak in Filipino. So, other than me, our coaches here. So, I would like to also acknowledge Coach York Tamayo in Calamba City, Philippines, where my hometown is around 20 to 30 kilometers from there. But then Davao, I moved to the southern part in 2014, which is very far from us. So, it's like I was born in, like, for example, in Burghausen, but then in Schwerin. So that's how far it is in the context of Germany. So, Coach York, do you have any other questions? Or if you have questions, you can type it on the chat box, especially for those who are in page. So we can wait for it for the next 3 to 5 minutes while I'm waiting for others to come in and then also ask their questions. I would like also to acknowledge the Familiar family headed by David, also Sir Jonathan, Vien, and Jacob, who are also one of my friends' families in Davao. So I haven't seen them for the past, I must say, since I arrived here in Budapest. So, Coach York, do you have questions? If you have questions, please turn on your camera or type on the chat box. I would like also to acknowledge the coach of the Laguna State Polytechnic University, Joanne Michelle Hesmundo. Coach Joanne, good afternoon to you as well. And then also Danessa Lin Loon, good afternoon. And also, who else are in the chat box? Okay, so okay, while waiting for the next 5 minutes, because if there's no other questions, I think we can continue our few minutes together. So of course, the most distinct thing, of course, this is another sideline question, is the club system of Germany, especially in the context of SV Wackelburghausen, and also, of course, with the MTG Mannheim. Of course, we follow the school sports system, like in the United States, in the Philippines. It's a hybrid form, actually, because we have school sports system in the Philippines, wherein that you need to have a school team and you need to join the context of we have the UAAP or NCAA in the Philippines, like the version of NCAA in the United States. So, based on your experience, do you think that what things that young children can learn when they are trying to pursue, especially in the school sport? Because of course that your team is school and not the club. So what do you think would, if you will be the coach, do you think should be done in order to motivate children to really get along with athletics? I hope that's a good question.
Yeah. It's actually a bit similar in Germany because we do have school competitions from a very young age on. And that's how I actually came in contact with athletics. Because when I was 6 years old, I was only 1 year into tennis. And I was in the first grade, and we always have these competitions every year where you can get points, and you have long jump, throwing, and sprinting. And I think it's mandatory. Yeah, I think it's mandatory for everyone. And that's how I came in contact. And our school teachers were very supporting. And if you were good at these competitions, then you could proceed to higher competitions with your school team. And I think you just have to encourage your athletes to stay on track and keep going.
Okay, thank you, Alex. So we turn now to the question on our Facebook group, because aside from we are hooked up to the Pinoy Athletics page live. So the question is from Andy Fiel. Hello, Andy. His question is, in terms of internal preparations, what were the mental training activities that your coach prepared for you prior to competition? So that's the question of Andy Fiel.
Okay, it was a lot about visualization. I really tried to visualize my races, everything around it from different perspectives, every phase of the race, from beginning, from starting blocks to acceleration, to the last 10 to 30 meters where I usually have my problems. And this helped me a lot.
Yes, I'm here, sorry.
Oh, have you understood everything? You back?
Yes, continue, Alex.
Okay. So this visualization is still a very big part, and I'm visualizing it not only before a competition, I also do it at home at the training phase. And that's how my mental training looks like, visualization.
Okay, thank you. Unfortunately, my computer went off, so that's why I'm back on mobile. So, Andrew, do we have other questions on our Facebook page? Because I cannot view as of this time the questions. And we have only we can wrap up for the next 10 minutes because, of course, we just only committed Alex for an hour. And, of course, on the context of Germany, time is really very structured. So of course we know those things, and I learned it the hard way for the past 3 to 4 years that I've been in Germany, that if you Michael has been always worried that I'm late when I was still in Mannheim. So like for example, I was 2 minutes late to enter the stadium. Where are you, Ernest? Where are you? I mean, I'm worried. Where are you? Are you lost or something? No, I'm here. Sorry. So that's why it's very important for us to know this kind of situations. Anyway, so to continue, I think Coach York, if you're ready for the question, you can turn on your camera because my computer is still booting up, so I cannot see the private messages on the Zoom right now. And Coach Joanne and others, if you have questions, kindly turn on also your microphones. David Familiar of my team captain in Ateneo de Davao University, Office of the Athletics or Athletics team. Do you have questions? David?
Hello po, Coach.
Yes, please turn on your cam, if possible.
So far, I have no questions. I have no questions pa.
Ernell,
Yes.
We have a question from Woo Jin. Maybe if Woo Jin, if you could turn on your cam and ask your question. If not, I will read the question. Okay, I'll read Woo Jin's question. So Woo Jin asked this question. He typed it. This is to Alex. What do you mean by sometimes doing less is more? How does it apply in athletics?
What I do mean with doing less is sometimes more is that if the program says do 6 runs of this, maybe let's say 60 meters, 90%, and you feel your hamstring at the fourth run, then you maybe should stop, because otherwise you're at a high risk of injury because you could tear your hamstring. So if you do maybe 4 high quality 60-meter runs, it's better to stop if you feel your hamstring. And sometimes even a day off is a very good thing, because a day off can help you with regenerating, doing some mobility maybe, and then you're better recovered for the next hard session. Yeah, but I think a good coach will always see if their athletes are too tired to train, or if it's a good thing to do one more race or to do one more run. And yeah, it's always, yeah, as I said, not stick to the plan as it's written. It always depends on how you feel each day.
Okay, thank you. So it means that it's really about efficiency, or making sure that, as you mentioned, listen to the body, because it's a common parlance, of course, that it's always to have to train more and more, and then but then the intensity and also the volume should be perfectly or ideally structured and balanced. So that's another tip that we can share to you, dear audience, that of course it's not always to all out everything when you're training, especially when you're preparing the competition. So usually, of course, on the context of preparing for competition in the whole season, you have of course the off season and the on season, and also the peak or near the competition. So what is your practical advice in making sure that the volume and intensity or is properly periodized based on your experience with your coaches?
My advice is that maybe some technical things can help you, like sports watches or monitoring some data, because they give you a proper insight in how your body reacts and how he regenerates. There are a lot of devices out there that measure your pulse and your overnight recovery. And yeah, we worked with it the last 4 months now, and it really helps us to see how I am responding to different trainings and to different approaches. And yeah, that is something I can really recommend.
Okay, thank you. Coach Jonathan Familiar mentioned that he mentioned about this. That is what our Russian coach always tell before your training today. Listen to your body and during your training before. So for the context of everyone, Coach Jonathan Familiar is a former member of the national training pool during the 90s, and so that's why he knows about this. So thank you, Coach Jonathan Familiar. He's the parent of our 2 kids here, or young athletes, David and also Jacob. So thank you, Familiar family, for joining us. So now I turn over for our last 2 set of questions for Coach York Tamayo in Calamba City, Philippines, which is around 54 kilometers south of Manila. See, I know the exact kilometers because I know, and this is the province where I was born, but then I moved to Davao in 2014. Coach York, take it away.
Yes, hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Miss Alex.
Good afternoon.
All the way from Calamba City, Philippines. So I have a question. I have 3 questions. The first one is, how old are you when you started in track and field?
I was 9 years old.
Oh, 9 years old. Then, do you think height is an advantage to being a sprinter?
It can be an advantage if you use it right. You do have the advantage of maybe longer legs and longer steps, but you also have to have high frequency to run fast.
And for the last, what makes it different from smaller athletes?
Smaller athletes usually have this high frequency already. So they, I think, need to work on their strength work and need to do a lot of weight training to have the power to put their frequency into long steps.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes, and Coach York is really one of the hardworking coaches in that region or in that province, because he really trains a lot of children. So we hope that when the pandemic comes, then of course when I go home next year or in 2022, I don't know yet. We hope that we can meet soon, especially that of course Calamba is near my hometown. So it's like he is in, should we say, in München, and then my hometown, for example, is in Burghausen. So that's how far it is in the context of in the location that we went in Burghausen. Okay, so if there's no other questions, or okay, so I think we can call off for a day. So final message of thanks and to wrap this thing up, Alex, final message on our discussion this afternoon or morning here in Europe.
Yeah, I was really happy to join you, and I hope I could, I was able to give you some insights into my life as an athlete. And yeah, NL has my contact details, so if you need to know anything or if you have any other questions, then feel free to contact NL and he will ask me. And I'm happy to help you.
Okay, thank you, Alex. So by the way, to those who want to follow Alex, she has an Instagram page, Lexbu, Lexbu on Instagram. So that's where she posts her daily insights and updates on training. So Coach Brian and Coach Andrew, if we don't have questions, I think we can call off for a day so that we end in exactly at 12 noon or 6 p.m. Philippine time. So if there's any other questions or comments or suggestions, please feel free to ask us on Pinoyathletics, and also Alex, as you can follow her on Instagram. So with that, Andrew, we say goodbye or final message. Andrew and Ryan, say thanks or anything before we call it a day.
Well, I just want to say thank you to Miss Alexandra Burghardt. It was an honor having to talk to you and ask you those questions. Very honored.
Thank you. Thank you. It was very fun. And always appreciate it. And maybe I can join you once again in the future.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Okay, so with that, of course, Joan Esmundo also said her thanks for the time also. So maraming salamat. Thank you very much. Dankeschön, bitteschön. Vielen Dank, Alex, for the time. And of course, we hope to see you soon, especially when Munich hosts the 2022 European Athletics Championships, if I'm not mistaken. So I hope the pandemic will really conclude that time. With that, we end our Track Talk Thursdays this first day of April. This is not an April Fool's presentation, but of course, it's a truth that we have Alexandra Burghardt earlier today. So with that, maraming salamat. God bless. Stay healthy and mabuhay ang atletang Pilipino. Long live the Filipino athlete. And also, thank you, Alex. Maraming salamat. God bless. And goodbye.
Welcome. Goodbye.
Bye.